So this is the main table in the admin interface, the list of all the presentations in the conference. And what I've been doing is mostly working on this area here, which provides the tools to filter and find stuff in this very long list of presentations. There are essentially two types of tools. There are this group of filters in here, and there is this search box here, this input field, that applies only to talks and speakers. So essentially that allows you to filter by searching for a string that it's included in the talk titles or on the speaker name. And the idea is that this will filter as I type if we can make this perform as needed. So basically this type of control needs to perform really well. The filtering in the table needs to be pretty much immediate. Otherwise users get really confused. If the performance is not good enough, we'll need to add a search button in there. The next group is the filters, and there are two types of filters. There are simple filters, like the date, that just have a list of things that you can select one or more from. The other simple filter in this example is the select progress one. And there are complex filters, and the reason why they're complex is because the list of things is much longer. And in that case, we have the rooms, the tracks, and the estate, which the list is quite long as well. And the complex filters just have the same list from which you can select one or more things, but the list scrolls, first of all, and second of all, it has this filtering utility that works very much like the Find Talks and Speakers one. So I can type anything here, and the list will be filtered. So I can find all the rooms in UV, or I can find all the rooms in the AW building. And then I can select one or more things in here and then apply the filter. If I type something here that matches, if this string doesn't match anything on the list, you get this message, no rooms found. So when I clear the message, the content of the list comes back. In all these filters, both the simple and the complex, the apply button is it's disabled by default. This is on purpose. You need to select something in order to apply the filter. So if I want to find all the presentations that go on in the Johnson room during FOSDEM, I can select the Johnson room, and then the apply button becomes enabled. And when I apply it, the state of several things happened. First of all, there is a transition that affects the content of the table. In this case, it fades away and it comes back. And this is just to tell people that something has happened. If we don't put a transition in there, people will have difficulties understanding whether the filter was applied or not. The room filter has changed the status, it's now highlighted in grey, and it has this clear button. And if you hover over it, you get a tooltip that says clear, the filter, room filter, track filter, state filter, whatever, or date filter, or progress filter. That's to clear the filter and go back to the full contents of the table. And the other thing that happens is that when I apply a filter, the Find Talks and Speakers filtering tool is disabled. This is because I'm not sure it makes sense to have both working in combination. My concern is that that's going to generate a lot of empty results. So although in the case of FOSDEM the list of talks is relatively long, it's not as long as to needing both things. So when I apply a filter, the Find Talks and Speakers box is disabled. If I clear this filter, this becomes enabled again. If I type something in here, the filters are disabled, right? If I empty the filtering, then the Find Talks and Speakers box, the filters come back. But although you cannot combine these two things, you can apply more than one filter. So I, for example, might select a track, like the keynotes, right? And then I might select, whatever, the keynote that goes on this room, and then apply that. And as you can see, the state of the applied filter changes for both, and I can disable them one by one. So that's really it for now. I hope this is useful.